Now to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I'm afraid I don't know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I said I lost my parents. It would be nearer the truth to say that my parents have lost me. I don't actually know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, an old gentleman of very charitable and kindly disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing, because he happened to have a first-class ticket for Worthing in his back pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex, which is a seaside resort.
Where did this charitable gentleman, who had a first-class ticket to the seaside resort, find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
Yes, Lady Bracknell, I was in a handbag, a somewhat large, black leather handbag with handles to it. An ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what locality did this Mr. James Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
At the cloakroom at Victoria Station.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes, the Brighton line.
Didn't go off right, old boy. You don't mean to say Gwendolyn refused you? I know it is a way she has. She's always refusing people. I mean, it's most ill-natured of her. Oh, what?
What do you think?
Tell me.
No, Alan. Why don't you try to work it out?
I got the right line.
Did you?
Yes, definitely. Didn't go off right, old boy. You don't mean to say Gwendolyn.
It's the right line.
The Brighton line.
What then?
Take a look at me. And just think for a minute. Am I alone?
Alone in what sense?
You're a twat, Alan.
You shouldn't call him that.
I'm with her. I'm in the middle of the scene. I'm still talking.
You should use aggressive language. Do you know what that is? That is about bullying.
So obviously, you've come on too soon.
It's inappropriate behavior.
Rose! What are you going on
You
about?
called him a twat.
He's a twat. You came on a page too early.
I come on at the end of the scene with Lady Bracknell.
That's the point I'm trying to make. It's obvious. I'm still talking to Lady Bracknell. I mean, there she is. Look at her. The scene hasn't ended yet.
This line is immaterial.
Not now, Rose.
Do you want to be honest?
Weren't you listening?
I was listening, after a fashion, but I wasn't really following. Jeez, I was half listening.
Well, am I half stupid? Are you doing this on purpose? You come on too early? You come on too late? Sometimes you don't come on at all. It seems to depend on the weather or what mood you're in. I don't know. I mean, you're new here, Alan. Relatively new. Maybe I haven't quite worked you out yet. But tell me, a simple yes or no. Are you deliberately undermining me? Have you got something against me?
Being very well done.
Have you got something against me?
No!
Because if you have, you can tell me.
I've got nothing against you, George.
Would you have preferred someone else to be director?
Can't think of a better director.
Then, as director, can I remind you that we're going to be performing this play in front of an audience, a real audience, a live audience, 1 week from now. We've got the stage, we've got the seats, we've sold the tickets.
We haven't sold any tickets.
All right, we've given the tickets away, but they still said they'll come. That's the same thing. They're expecting a performance. And you seem to have set out to deliberately sabotage it.
I came on a few lines early. My mind was wandering. That's all. The Specs should have told me. He normally gives me my cue.
Normally.
If insofar as anything about Specs is normal, then yes.
And where was Specs?
He was... Well, he was there.
What was he doing?
He was doing what he always does. At least when the lights were on. He was reading. He had his head in the book.
Which book? The book of the play.
Obviously.
He was reading the lines.
Yes.
Did you know what was going on?
I suppose so. Why did you go ask him?
I'll ask him. I'll ask him now. Specs!
She's not coming.
Give him time.
We could be here.
You just have to be patient.
He's not moving.
He's got slow reaction.
Well, it's your rehearsal, George. But I just should point out that this time we're never going to get to the next scene.
Specs! Will you get out here now?
Out of respect and, of course, with all due interest, why did you choose him to be prompter?
I didn't choose him. He volunteered.
He could have played Algernon. He could still play Algernon. He knows all the lines, and correct me if I've got this wrong, but he's got this stammer, but he doesn't stammer when he reads, so wouldn't he be better at it performing?
That's not possible.
Why not?
He gets stage fright.
He's scared of a lot of things.
That's true. But he's not had an easy life. He was bullied when he was young.
We were all bullied when we were young.
Yeah, for him, it started in the maternity ward.
What?
His mother rejected him.
Why?
Even the nurses didn't want to know. The other babies used to gang up on him and steal his pacifier. 19 years later, and his mother still got postnatal depression. You can't blame her.
Why do you think?
The only friends he's ever had are in this place. And we don't much like him either.
I think he's alright.
Rose! There's nothing alright about Specs. Why are you pretending otherwise?
Just trying to be kind.
You want to be kind? You get back to the scene. Right then. Shall we take it from the top?
Oh, do we have to?
Okay, we'll take it from the middle.
Suppose we take it from where we left off?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can I ask you something?
Kindly wait.
No. It's something I don't understand.
Go on.
It's about this handbag.
Of course it is.
The handbag.
Yeah.
What about it?
I was just wondering how big it was. I mean, how would you fit inside it?
Well, it was a big handbag. In those days, women had big handbags.
Those days.
When the play was written,
When was that?
I don't know. It doesn't matter when it was written. It was a long time ago.
And it's by Oscar Wilde.
That's right.
He wore a green carnation, he was Irish, he wrote plays, and he was queer.
He wasn't queer. He was gay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know his sort.
But there's no need for negative stereotyping.
His name was Oscar Wilde. He liked boys. He liked working class boys. He took them back to his place and he took advantage of them. What am I supposed to call him?
A homosexual. From the Greek.
What he did and what he called it, it makes me sick. In my opinion, they shouldn't have allowed him out like comedies. They should have put him in jail.
Getting back to your entrance now, Alan?
Wait a minute. You haven't answered my question. I don't see how you would be able to fit in the handbag, no matter how big it was. Maybe if it was a suitcase. What? And then, even then, I'd never be able to carry you.
Rose, you haven't understood a single word of this play, have you?
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't. When I'm found in the handbag, I'm a baby, alright? I'm not
baby?
big, I'm small. I'm a baby.
A baby?
Yes.
How old?
I don't know, a couple months.
Is the handbag done up?
I don't know.
Because if it's done up, it could be very dangerous, and you can suffocate.
That's
Well, obviously,
true.
I haven't suffocated, because if I suffocated, I wouldn't be here, and there won't be any play.
Even so, it would be a horrible thing to do to put a baby in a handbag and then leave it in the dark. It would be so scared and leave it in a railway station on its own. How can anyone do
It's
that?
a comedy.
Oscar Wilde knocking up little kids. It's not witty, it's repulsive.
I have funny lines.
Have you really?
Yes.
Okay, tell me one funny line.
Wait, now.
Tell me one funny line.
Well,
Come on, Rose.
wait.
There aren't any.
There are lots. Go on, Rose.
Hurry up.
To be born, or at any rate, bred in a handbag, whether it has handles or not, seems to be a contempt for order and reminds one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution.
What was that?
There you are. That was great.
You thought that was funny?
Yes.
You're not laughing.
I've heard it before.
It wasn't funny.
It was out of context.
Okay, Rose, since you're the one falling back with mirth, what's so funny about that line?
I think it's funny that cheese got bread in a handbag.
Oh,
What? Bread in the handbag? You think she's got a loaf of bread in her handbag? She hasn't got anything in her handbag.
She's got a baby.
No, you don't get any of it, do you? You don't understand a single word. What about the French Revolution? What was that about?
Why are you picking on me? I never learned dancing. I don't know.
I'm not picking on you. I'm with you. I don't even get it either. I don't even get the plot.
it couldn't be simpler. It's a comedy.
So what's it about?
You want to know what it's about?
That's what I just said.
Well, it's obvious.
Then you tell me.
The story.
What's it about?
The story.
Yes.
You ought to know it by now.
I do know it. I just want to hear it from you.
Right. I'm Jack Worthing.
Jack.
All right, Jack. I have a big brother called Ernest, who doesn't exist. And that's the name I also call myself. Sometimes I'm Jack. Sometimes I'm Ernest. You're my best friend, and your name is Algie.
Algie.
And you're a real friend. Someone I can trust. Not someone who would lead me to do something I regret for the rest of my life. And I'm in love. I'm in love with your cousin, Gwendolyn,
Gwendolyn.
who's really nice and not a slut. But she doesn't like me as Jack. She likes me as Ernest. You're in love with Cicely,
Sicily.
who's also a nice girl, like Gwendolyn, but you also call yourself Ernest. And Cicely has always dreamed that she'll meet someone called Ernest. So, she falls in love with you. Lady Bracknell is your aunt with the funny lines, which are funny if they are delivered properly. And she's Gwendolyn's mother. And she doesn't want me to marry Gwendolyn. And I'm Cicely's gardener. And I don't want her to marry you.
You know, I'm not sure I'm any the wiser.
What about the handbag?
What about that handbag, Rose? It's leather with long straps.
Well, I'm glad that's sorted.
Right then. Can we get started? Are you ready to make your entrance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
It does not take that long.
I think we get it now, Alan. We hear you playing the piano, and then you come in. No. You stop playing the piano, and then you come in. Otherwise, you look pretty stupid, wouldn't you?
We did this all yesterday.
And the day before. How can you have forgotten? Wait for the music. Do you want to hear it?
Specs!
That's not a piano.
I know it's not a piano. You don't have a piano here.
Pianos have piano wire.
That makes complete sense.
I don't think it really matters. All that matters is I hear a musical instrument being played.
It could be a trombone.
It could be anything. And I call out, "For goodness sake, Algie, don't play that ghastly tune." The music stops.
Didn't go off right, old boy? You don't mean to say Gwendolyn refused you.
Right! That was excellent! That was perfect! I really think we're getting somewhere.
About this handbag.
Rose!
Oh.
No.
You've done all that.
There's something else.
What is it?
Why does the handbag have to be leather?
God.
Why is it leather?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Do you have to know? Just written that
You
way.
can change the line.
Can't change the lines.
Why not?
Because it's Oscar Wilde. If you change the lines, it won't be funny anymore.
Why can't it be a plastic handbag?
They didn't have plastic handbags when the play was written.
Why not?
It wasn't in society. Nobody would have been seen dead wearing plastic. And even dead people. It just wasn't a thing.
I just think we ought to think about the cow.
What?
What cow?
The cow that made the handbag. Why should animals have to die to make a fashion accessory?
Look! This is the importance of being honest, not the importance of being a vegetarian. I mean, we've been rehearsing it for weeks.
Mum.
It's a bit late to bring it up now.
For Christ's sake, George! What's going on?
We got a problem with this.
What are you doing?
We got a problem with this scene. Nothing to worry about. Sorting it.
You've been sorting it for a very long time.
We're working on it.
How long am I supposed to wait out there?
Pages. 2 minutes a page. 4 minutes.
You can tell he's the one with the maths GCSE.
Wait another 4 minutes. We got a page.
I am fed up waiting. I've been waiting all fucking day, just sitting there fucking waiting.
She's angry.
I'm angry. You're not meant to be angry, Irene. That's why this is the anger management. Actually, anger management really pisses me off. You need anger to live in this place? What's wrong with this place? I like it here. What? No, you don't, Rose. You only think you like it. They fill it with pills. It's the same thing. What? Thinking I like it and liking it, it's the same thing. The difference is that it's a fucking hallucination. I like the hallucinations. I'll tell you what I hate about this place. You so think that you don't see it. They're trying to turn us into something we're not.
Do we have to have this conversation now?
You got it wrong, Irene. They're untying the knots. They're trying to turn us into something.
You're very clever, Kinsey. You really fancy yourself, don't you? Anyone would think you'd had an education.
I've had a re-education.
It's not the same thing.
Oh,
Leaf sheets isn't self-harming.
No, I let other people do that for me.
Are you gonna guide me, Rose? Because if you're gonna guide me, we can step outside.
You stepped outside in 11 years!
But one day I want you to be the first person I'll
I'm
put out
not
there.
going anywhere.
I'll tell you what I hate about this place. They're trying to patch us together with their medicine and their methods, but I'm not gonna let them do that to me.
Being a total screw-up.
Fuck you,
I don't like
Kinsey.
this sort of language. It's wrong.
If you're so clever, how did you end up in here? How did you end up even being called Kinsey? It's not your name.
It is my name.
It's the one that they gave you. Not the one you were born with. Not the one your parents... I lost my parents! You mean your parents lost you as quickly as they... Or is it that the newspapers called the two of you, George? Do you want to remind me?
You will never talk about that. You know we're never meant to talk about
They
that.
had a name for you too, Rose.
But they don't know me.
But they knew what you did, and after that they didn't want to know you. Nobody does. They still don't.
One day I'll be out of here and I'll tell them the truth.
Just make sure they haven't eaten.
Why don't we get back to the play?
talking about the handbag.
That's right. Rose asked about the handbag. Rose, I think you had an interesting point.
I don't see why it can't be plastic.
Oh, Jesus!
Can I answer her?
Go ahead!
It's an interesting point, Rose. But the baby would die in a plastic handbag. Wouldn't be able to breathe. Even if the handbag was open, its little lips would get stuck to the side, and that would be the end of it. You don't want to put a baby in a plastic handbag. Has to be leather, all right?
You know, the more I think about it, right, the more I wonder if this is actually the right play for us.
That's because you don't understand the plot.
Well, then maybe you can actually help me for once.
I've already done that. I've told you.
You should turn your arms at the end.
Yeah.
What?
That's right, the end. What happens at the end, George?
Why are you asking that?
Because I wanted to know.
You never asked before.
I'm asking now.
You know perfectly well we don't know what happens at the end.
What?
Why?
You joking?
We lost the last pages.
Are you
You kidding?
serious?
We lost some pages.
How many pages?
Act
We don't
What?
have Act 3.
No, we don't.
None of it.
No.
I thought it all ended a bit abruptly.
Mhm. So, what happened to Act 3?
The pages fell out. When they removed the staples, the pages fell out.
Quite a lot of pages.
We're not allowed staples. They're made of metal. They're pointy.
Stupid bastards!
So, what happened to the pages?
When they all fell out, we tried looking for them, but we couldn't find them.
Doesn't that somewhat defeat the purpose?
No! Oscar Wilde didn't work that way. He just wanted you to have a good time. And when you're having a good time, you don't want it to end.
I think they live happily ever after.
Just ew.
They get married. They have their own place. And a job. And maybe one of those new minis with a sunroof.
And they go down the boozer Friday night, get the punch up,
It sounds lovely.
I'm beginning to wonder if performing this play is actually such a good
Oh,
idea.
here we go.
I mean, think of the audience. What's going to happen when halfway through
Two-thirds.
2/3 of the way we just stop?
Give us.
That will make a change.
Look, the play is an antique. The jokes don't work. It's missing half the pages and it was written by a pervert.
Anything else?
Actually, yes, since you mention it, I don't think it's relevant.
Relevant? Who says it's irrelevant?
Well, it actually might help. It might make the play more enjoyable. So, tell me, George, you'll start to pretend. The importance of being earnest. What's the connection to us?
That's a good question.
It's a masterpiece. It's a much-loved English classic.
By an Irishman.
Don't start that again.
Because I'll tell you something. It certainly isn't cucumber sandwiches and girls with Gwendolyn and marriages and handbags. I wouldn't go and see it. Who does? Can you tell me about what's the actual point?
It's simple, Alan. People love it.
The play.
The theatre. They love it. Doesn't matter what sort. Chekhov, Stendhal, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Going to the theatre. It's a big deal. Mums and dads, they get a babysitter for the kids.
A babysitter.
And we go off together up to London's West End. There are loads of theatres all in the row. And they're shown when to park by a kindly traffic warden. And in they go, in their suit and tie. Program, box of black magic. And the lights go down. Suddenly, it's like in a different world. Algernon Moncrief's flat in Half Moon Street. The room is luxuriously and artistically furnished. The sound of a xylophone is heard in the adjoining room.
A piano.
It depends on the production.
And people pay for this.
It's culture. Of course they pay for it. A good seat in the stalls can cost 15 quid. And you may still have to put another 10 pence in for a pair of binoculars.
I would
But
go
don't
if you
mind.
paid me.
Yes, you would.
I would, but I wouldn't enjoy it.
You'd love it. A quick gin and tonic at the interval, served in the comfort of the crush bar. Then the second half.
3, if you've got the whole play.
Applause. Encore. Lights up and out for dinner at your local Aberdeen steakhouse. 3 courses, served with a fine wine. That's what it's all about. That's an evening out.
It's still a rubbish play if I met someone like when I would want to nut her.
You didn't say that.
Do you know nothing that comes out of the Robert Rose?
Robert is there for a reason.
If I met Gwendolyn makes me want to throw up. She wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes on my stage. She would have been killed just for her name.
You still haven't answered my question, George. Why are we doing this play?
Alright, I'll tell you. There were 2 plays in the library. The Importance of Being Earnest and Julius Caesar. I think this one is irrelevant. You should have read the other one. It's full of Romans.
My mom went to Rome.
Ancient Romans. In togas and things.
Did it have any jokes?
No. But I had a murder.
You mean Like a video nasty.
It is a bit like that, yeah.
Who got murdered?
Julius Caesar. They stabbed him over and over.
That sounds more like it.
Why?
It was complicated. They didn't like it.
Was it a gang?
Yes, a gang with knives. They wait for him in the market and they do him over.
Like a video nut. Julius Caesar. I can't say I ever saw it. And I used to watch a lot of video nasties.
You know, I'm not really sure.
I used to watch them all the time when I was young. We had this local blockbuster near my house, and kind of weirdly, the manager definitely took a shine to me. He used to show me all these dirty films. Not that you get many dirty films at Blockbuster. Smutty, more like. Still very capable of affecting him.
It was
I prefer the action films anyway. Die Hard, Scream 2. Little did I know that they might one day furnish me with the title of my own autobiography. But the best news was when Blockbuster started renting video games. Now, I can rent violence in the privacy of my own room.
Zelda, warrior,
Sit
princess.
down.
No one cares. Only my stepdad, he was dead against them. All the killing, all the shooting. They went on and on and on about it.
You couldn't make the computer game out of the importance of being earnest if you tried. I mean, you could. But who'd want to play it? Oh, you and then it's gone to the next level. It would never work.
My stepdad used to say that the only thing would lead to another, the blood splatter and the sound effects. And it almost felt like, you know, the real thing. You know, the real thing.
Are you saying you're in here because of computer games?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. My stepdad didn't want me to play violent games. He used to touch me every time I got home from school. Anyway, one night he caught me unexpectedly and caught me red-handed. I just managed to get my hands on Grand Theft Auto. And there I was, blasting away, shooting left, right and centre. And there he was, standing at the door.
What did he do?
He beat me up. Put me in the hospital for 2 days.
Was that when you ran away?
I wouldn't even been able to walk away after that. I just about managed to look to school. I ran away 3 months after that. Well, when I could.
London.
Pretty much, yeah.
What's London like?
London.
Yeah.
It's big.
It's got pigeons and the Millennium Wheel. I love the Millennium Wheel.
What's the point of going on the fucking Millennium Wheel? It really take it back where you started.
I thought the streets of London would be lined with gold. But they really weren't. Instead, what I found were creeps and weirdos.
Where did you sleep?
Where did I sleep? That was definitely difficult. They were always moving you on, at least that is. I was only 18. But at the end, I found a place near Victoria Station.
Victoria Station. Well, well, well. I guess there must be a connection after
The
all.
handbag! It was left in the cloakroom at Victoria Station!
I got to know the station very well after I came to London. And I will admit, I couple of gentlemen did in fact take him to the playground.
We don't know about
I do!
It's not relevant.
It's the play that's not relevant. I vote we don't do it.
What?
Let's think about it. I say we junk it.
We're working on it for months.
I don't care. I think he's right.
We can't have a vote.
That
Not
is
because
their
it's here.
vote, George. They're not here because all in all, they'd rather be on medication. That is their commitment.
Actually, we're all committed.
If we had a vote, I'd win. I want to do it. Specs wants to do it. Kinsey wants to do it, and Rose.
I don't want to do it.
That just leaves the two of you.
Specs doesn't even want to do it.
Yes, he does.
Then let's hear him say
Would
it.
you-
Yes!
Specs!
He's not coming.
Anyone fancy a game of Scrabble whilst we wait?
I hate fucking Scrabble.
Yeah, you see, I don't understand why. Because you're always so good with the 4-letter words.
You haven't thought this through, George. It's a terrible play. It's a horrible play. We're all going to make complete idiots of ourselves.
No, Alan. You're the only one who doesn't see it. When it's done properly, it's a brilliant play. It's hilarious.
When it's done properly.
We just haven't got there yet. But that's what we're working towards. We are doing it. And that's been decided. So now get off stage and let's get back to the first scene.
Wait a minute. You never gave me a vote.
You did get a vote, Kinsey. You voted to do it.
No, George. I did it because you told me to.
That's not true. It's not me. I wouldn't do that.
Well, I've changed my mind.
What?
I don't want to do it anymore.
I can't keep up with this. It's a draw. 3-3. I'm going to
No!
bed.
Wait! Kinsey, what do you want?
Well, for starters, I wouldn't mind a decent part. I mean, I'm the butler. I just bring on cucumber sandwiches and muffins. They don't even exist. And it's so embarrassing.
The imaginary cucumber sandwiches. That's part of the drama.
I'm inclined to triangle. Rome.
Don't.
Shush. No.
Oh, little squares. That's why I used to do them. Natalie used to love them. We go down to the bottom of the garden and we'd have a little picnic in the daisies. Little Natty and me. And then I made sure that the little tiny teacups full of water was never scalding hot or anything like that. I put the knife away. That's why I wanted to do this play. Because it reminded me of the picnics. The cucumber sandwich. And I always imagined that they cut to little squares.
You see what I mean. This is complete bullshit.
I'm with you there.
That's it then, Julian's free. It's not good enough.
The end. Curtain.
No! Wait a minute! Kinsey, let me talk to you.
You've spoken enough, George.
Just the two of us. Alone. You and me.
You and me.
Like we used to be. Just for a moment.
Fine.
Thank you, Kinsey. Alright, everyone? Did you get that? We're going to take 5.
Like what?
5 minutes, Rose. It's a technical term.
5 minutes alone.
1-on-1. Please?
Please. You tell him.
What do you want, Kinsey?
Let's talk about motivation.
What?
You think you heard me, George? You never gave me my time during rehearsals. So, let's talk about motivation.
No.
That's right.
Your character is a butler, Kinsey. He doesn't have motivation. He gets paid, which is the next best thing.
That's not what I meant.
What then?
I would like to know why you didn't cast me, just out of interest, why you didn't cast me for Algernon.
Cussing you.
As the butler, as Lane.
You want a bigger part?
I don't want any part at all, but since Alan is complete crap, doesn't want to do this, and keeps coming on at the wrong time, I would like to know, just out of interest, why you didn't cast me for Algernon.
You weren't right for Algernon.
And you think Rose is right for Lady Bracknell?
There's nothing wrong with Rose.
Lady Bracknell is a respectable, witty Juliana Victoria society. Rose is completely fit.
It's different interpretation.
I could have played Algernon. Algernon and Jack, a lifelong friend.
And that's why you're wrong for the part.
It would have been nice, you know. Bit of comic banter between us.
It wouldn't work.
You did want to try.
Not anymore.
I could have acted.
I couldn't.
Because you didn't want to try.
Not anymore.
I was the best friend you had.
That's what I thought. Once. But you let me right up the garden path.
No, we went up that garden path
But
together.
it wasn't a garden path, was it? It led us here. Unless this is the only garden in the country where they put hydrangeas behind razor wire.
You still blame me. How much of it do you really remember? I mean, it was a long time ago. Do you ever think about Ashburns?
Not if I can help it.
You and me, we were inseparable. Same school, same street, same brand of cigarettes. You remember that? 10 Marlboro Light from old Mr. Harris on the corner. You get attention, and I'm with them. And the chime of the ice cream van on a hot summer's day. We'd run in front of it to try and see if we can fake an insurance claim. And going up that garden path, since you mentioned it, breaking into the conservatory.
You were a year older than me.
But you were the smart one. The director. You remember the bicycle rides? Yeah? Ashhurst, Findon, and then down the A24 to Worthing.
Don't want to talk about Worthing.
And then, of course, you must remember coming here.
I remember that.
You know, I've never thought they'd send us to the same place. Do you ever wonder why they did that? Perhaps it was therapy.
Punishment.
I was 12 when I came here. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand any of it. I remember they unlocked that door. We went in, and they locked it behind us. And there was another door, unlock, go in, lock it behind us, and then I couldn't believe it. There was another door. And then I asked, what's this? And they said, that was the front door, and that was when I knew I was in trouble. Do you ever think they'll open those doors again, George? Is that your motivation? Be a good boy, put on a play, they'll look at you in a new light and let you out.
They might.
They won't.
I'm different now.
New name. New number. Oh, the same old.
No.
Still trying to make me
It was your idea.
No. You're never going to leave. You should be glad.
No.
Because you know what would happen if you walked through all those doors. There'd be a crowd waiting. All the journalists and the photographers. They'd snap you in half.
They don't know me.
No one will ever forget you.
They've forgiven me.
You think so? Personally, I've never thought as a journalist of the forgiving sort. And then there are the parents and the relatives lining up to give you a good kicking. And then, of course, the rest of the world. You're slime, you're evil. They'd rather you didn't exist.
I've changed. Different now. And when I get out here, I'll be someone else.
Face of Satan.
It was red eye. That was all.
A lethal injection, George. You remember that? Free with the Daily Mail, say page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 16. They were even trying to kill you on the sport page.
I'm 11 years old.
That's no excuse.
One day, he'll let us go.
You think so? And, I don't know, what about the rest of your cast? Do you really think they're going to let Rose out? Give her a job in a creche, perhaps? Or Count Dracula to supply the character reference? Or Irene? Let her alone? The rest of her family? What's left of them in Glasgow? Alan, Specs. There are two people that'd be much happier walking the streets, and the streets would be much happier having them. Don't you see what you are? Do you really see it happening?
Have you finished?
Really?
The bell will be going.
Well, no one else is.
I want to go on with the rehearsal. I need your boat.
And I needed you, George! I needed you!
Alan, Irene, Rose, Specs. We've had a discussion. We've hammered a few things out.
It wasn't my hammer.
We've decided. We put a lot of work into this. We all have. So, we're going to continue.
Shit!
You're a wanker. You're a wanker, Kinsey.
So, the decision has been made.
Decision.
Kinsey wants to do it. Don't you, Kinsey? Ali!
What did you call me?
Is that your name?
Ali.
It was my name. In Worthing.
That's not allowed.
I mean, maybe he's right. We've got nothing better to do.
See?
Okay, just tell me one thing.
What?
Why are we actually still doing this? Why are we bothering?
Yeah, because quite frankly, I can't think of a fucking reason.
How can you ask us now? We've got the set, we've got the costumes, many of them, and you've learned your lines, many of them in the right order. We spent weeks, months. How can you ask this now?
Better late than never.
I still say we stop. I say we put the whole thing.
No! We
I
budget!
changed my mind.
What?
I
Have you talked to her?
no. I don't know. I think it's a good
Okay,
idea.
there we go.
But a lot of the things I think are good ideas turn out not to be good ideas after all. That's the trouble. Like the time with me and Natty. I thought it was a good idea, but that's how I ended up here. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's not to have good ideas.
Wait, so you're against it?
No, she's for it.
No, I'm against it.
She doesn't understand what she's saying. She doesn't understand a single word that comes out of her
No,
lips.
Bo doesn't count. She's disqualified.
Let's talk about this tomorrow.
No.
Let's pack it in now!
No, wait! You don't see it. You don't see the importance. One more week, how it could be. Listen to me. In a week's time, we'll have an audience. They'll come in through that door and the door behind them. And they'll sit down and they'll watch us. And just for an hour and a half, they'll enjoy what we do. They'll see us eat the cucumber sandwiches and muffins, and they'll laugh at our jokes. And they won't be afraid that something horrible is going to happen. On the contrary, it's Oscar Wilde. They'll know it's going to be hilarious. And even if they never find out what happens on our account of having mislaid Act 3, they won't mind. They'll forgive us. They'll be enjoying our experience, a cultural experience. They've enjoyed us for what we are.
No, not what we are. Who we're dressed up as. Lane the butler.
Algernon.
Wendling.
Lady Bracknell.
But it doesn't matter. That's the whole point. When we're here on that stage, that's who we are. If we do the play, let me ask you this, Alan. Who would you prefer to be? Algernon Moncrief, wealthy bachelor with a flat on Half Moon Street? Or Specs?
And when it's over,
Doesn't matter. It'll been a start.
Right, fine, fuck it, but just get to move on this time.
Come on, Irene.
He won't
Alan.
speak up.
I've never had an ounce of control in my entire life. I'm not a bad person. You know I'm not. But when certain things happen to you, and they happen to you your entire life, you're bound to explode. You can't help it. But I was never in control. I told them that, but they didn't believe me. Not then, not now.
Specs will help you. We'll give you a cue.
Will he?
Yeah. He'll be there.
Right.
I feel nervous. Where do we begin?
Back at the beginning, where we were.
Right.
You want your lines?
No, I've got it. Now to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I'm afraid I really don't know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I said I lost my parents. To be nearer the truth, say that my parents have lost me. Don't actually know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, an old gentleman of a very charitable and kind disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing, because he happened to have a first-class ticket for Worthing in his back pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex, which is a seaside resort.
Where did this charitable gentleman, who had a first-class ticket to the seaside resort, find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
A handbag.
A fucking handbag!
No!